am so tired, guys. I don't know who else can relate to this, but I am just about sick of everything. Everything. I'm tired of working. I'm tired of my bills. I'm tired of being bloated. I'm tired of trying to be productive all the time and then the guilt that comes with not being productive. I'm tired of the constant worry every time I eat carbs. I'm tired of the rat race, this little thing that we're just chasing, and like the expectations. I'm tired of social media. I'm tired of social media and everyone advising me on social media, especially when it comes to relationship advice. I am tired of it. I am tired of every time I see someone's content or just see content on social media, the constant reminder that I am not doing enough when it comes to content. I am tired of people. I'm tired of dating. Oh my God, I'm so tired of dating. Just thinking about dating physically exhausts me. I'm so tired of everything. Like, it can't be just me. I saw on TikTok the other day and I felt seen because someone really described how I feel at the moment. The person said, and she said it in like a really funny way, and I relate to it so much. She said, I don't want to die. Like, I generally don't want to die, but I also don't want to be here. And I was like, I've never felt so seen in my entire life, because that's exactly how I feel. I don't want to die. I'm not suicidal. I'm fine. I love my life. But I also don't want to be here because I'm just like over it. I'm over it. I have to pay bills every month. I just need 1 month where I don't get to spend money and bills and responsibilities. I heard it. Okay, get together. Today, we're talking about how to deal with your emotional exhaustion and that deep feeling. I don't know if I can really articulate it, and I really want to. That deep feeling of just being over it. Guys, it's time to discuss and address this. There's a shocking amount of us that's navigating through this space of just tiredness. It shows up as physical tiredness, but it shows up in other ways, but we actually don't recognize that it's emotional exhaustion. A lot of us are so emotionally tired, especially, and I can't speak for different ages, but I feel like the older you get, and there's this thing on social media where you're just like, oh, in your 30s, you're just tired. Like, millennials are just tired. We're just exhausted. And a lot of shocking amount of us are navigating through this space of actual tiredness. And we can't explain it. Yes, there's the physical aspect that you're probably not getting enough rest, you're drinking too much coffee, you're not exercising, all that stuff. Go watch a video. There's so many videos on YouTube about physical tiredness. But a lot of the times we can't actually explain why we're this tired, why we don't want to be productive anymore, why we want to shut away from the world, why you generally just want, for me, I just want to be under my duvet and hide and disappear from the world. I want to be in my bubble. I want to run away from my responsibilities. I want to run away from being productive. I want to run away from the rat race. I want to run away from the expectations. I just want to disappear and crawl up and just, like, I'm anxious. I'm also like, it comes out through me as being anxious. Like, I'm anxious all the time. And for so long, I didn't recognize that actually emotional tiredness shows up as depression. It shows up as irritation. It shows up as anger. It shows up as physical tiredness. It shows up in so many different ways that we don't recognize it. And I'm just tired of navigating through the space. Here are signs that you are probably emotionally tired. If I mention something that you probably relate to, feel free to put your hands up and let me know. Anxiety, I've mentioned that so many times. Fatigue. Sometimes it shows up as physical tiredness, so fatigue is a sign that you could be emotionally tired. Lack of motivation. Woo, tell me about it. Let me tell you something. I don't want to do nothing. Irritation, quick to anger, low work commitment, tasks taking long to complete, procrastination. Let me tell you, that's a deep sign that you probably just need a second. Lack of focus, depression. The list kind of goes on, but those are like the major signs that maybe you are emotionally exhausted and you need to like take a second to deal with it. Okay, now we know that emotional exhaustion can show up in different ways that we didn't recognize it could. How do we fix it? Number one is, I think you have to listen to your body, because your body tells you. Your body tells you when you're tired in general, whatever that looks like, whether you're physically tired, emotionally tired, your soul is tired, something is tired. Your body tells you. And I think that is the biggest lesson you have to listen. Being depressed when there's not a massive event that has happened, being in a constant state of anxiousness. Is anxiousness a word? Well, if it's not, it is now. Being in a space where you're constantly irritated or you're angry, and that's just not who you are. It's not coming out of thin air. It's not something that's just like manifesting in you. There's a reason why you're behaving this way. And so your body is telling you. It's telling you because you're reacting this way. It's telling you that you need to sit down and address why this is happening. Number two is you need to recognize your triggers. You need to recognize your triggers, because if you don't know why something has an emotional effect on you that's then making you anxious, you're not going to be able to fix it. You're going to try to fix your anxiety without fixing the cause of the problem. So if your job actually is the one that's stressing you, therefore making you tired, therefore showing up as anxiety in your life, if you don't fix the root problem, which is either leave your job or have a conversation to like manage your work-life balance, you would always keep fixing the anxiety and not the reason, and you'd always show up. You would always be in that state because the root cause has not been fixed. So we need to discuss, we need to figure out what the triggers are. My trigger for the dating tiredness, oh my God, I'm so tired of dating. Anytime I talk about it, I'm like, okay, so an example is like I just broke up I just came out of a relationship. And recently not recently, but in the last few months, I've just been, the thought of like dating is like giving me anxiety. Like, I'm just like, I cannot. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to do no small talk. I don't want to talk to any man. No. And a part of me is being like, why am I like this? Like, why am I this is not usually me. I'm okay with like talking to people and meeting new people. And I'm just like, why am I behaving like this? And then I took a second to be like, actually, I don't think I dealt with my breakup. I don't think I went through the emotions. I think I'm trying to like date again when actually I haven't like fully healed from like my breakup. And I'm like, it's okay to take a second. Like my body's literally telling me that it's okay, you're not ready, you're not there yet. But I was trying to force it. I was trying to like talk to people. Well, I'm trying to talk to people and it's like, you're just not ready. That's a trigger for me. Another thing that is a stressor for me, emotional stressor for me, is social media. Just looking at people creating content and just like social media as a place. I haven't learned how to look at social media, look at content, look at people's lives, and not relate them to mine. I haven't learned that skill, and I think it's an important skill to have if you're going to be on social media, is to be able to like detach. And I haven't fully learned how to detach that, and so it triggers me into this space. It really stresses me out. It really gets sometimes, not all the time, but it gets me into a space of now me like seeing people and seeing them living their lives. And I feel like this is just being honest. A lot of people go through this, right? Seeing people and seeing their lives and seeing the expectations and seeing what people are doing, it triggers me into thinking, oh my God, am I not creating enough content? Or should I be doing another job? Should I be making more money? What desire? All these different things. It really then spirals me into like anxiety. So that's the trigger for me. So in order to avoid that, in order to not spiral, I need to be able to, number one, learn how to detach social media from my life. It's not a comparison. I should not be comparing. Number two, learn how to consume social media in a way that's healthy for me, so that way I'm not in a state where I'm just spiraling into anxiety and now I'm stressed and now like I want to emotionally like just not be here. So social media is a trigger for me. Another trigger is when I'm like constantly just like working, like I'm just like in this house, not going out, not engaging, and just like working and like staying in the house. That really stresses me out. I eventually feel like I'm burnt out. Now I'm just like, it just spirals into like me just not even want to leave this space anymore. I just want to be in my little bubble and shut my friends out and shut family out and put my phone on flight mode and just not want to talk to somebody, because I'm like constantly working on like in this house and like working from home. That also triggers me. So I take it upon myself to do an activity at least once a week. Do something for myself. So go to the theater, go watch a movie, go out for drinks alone. Or with somebody. Like the whole idea that you have to do stuff with somebody is just nonsense. If you want to go and have a meal, go and have it yourself. You can't wait on other people to proceed to live your life, because you're not technically, you are on a healing journey. You want to not feel this way. So whatever you have to do cannot necessarily be attached to other people. It would be great if you can do stuff with your friends and family, but it can't solely depend on them. Leaving my house to go work from like a cafe, I strongly recommend. A lot of people that work remotely, sometimes we end up like staying at home and we have the same routine, and sometimes having the same routine and just feels like you're in this constant loop of like life. You just feel a bit stuck. I know I feel stuck when I'm constantly at home and just like working from home. So I've taken it upon myself as well to like leave my house at least 2-3 times a week and go work from a cafe, go into the office, go work from a hotel lobby. The fact that I dress up and just like go out there's something about it. It does something for me, and I just feel alive. I feel cute. I'm like, oh, let's take the world. So that's how I deal with my emotional tiredness. I cry, and sometimes I feel like, I don't know, do we still feel like crying is a sign of weakness? Because if you do, that's a problem. If your body needs you to cry, to let something out, it's okay. You can cry, whether you're a man or a woman. It's okay to cry. I cry when I require to cry. Sometimes I've had a really good day and I just get in bed and I'm like, I need to let a cry out. I don't know why, but something deep in me needs to cry. And I just cry and I feel better. It's weird. It's so weird. I'm a crier though. I cry, I go through the emotions, it's okay. And the thing I do is I pray. This is not for everybody, but speaking to the Lord, your God, your Savior, is a key way to get you out of that little funk, because the Lord will be helping you out of a funk, especially when you have no strength to do it yourself. So I speak to the Lord, okay? Some of the ways you can get out of this funk or like help your emotional tiredness. Sometimes when we think about like exhaustion, we think immediately to rest. Yes, resting sometimes is needed. If that's what you require, that's what you require. But it's not always necessarily resting is the solution to exhaustion, emotional tiredness, because emotional tiredness shows up as depression. And if you've been in bed, actually sometimes you got to go out and do stuff. So some of the things you can do is like really evaluate your work-life balance. Like, are you always working? Like, what does your work-life balance look like? Maybe that's your trigger. Maybe that's why you're in this situation, why you feel just like you can't be asked anymore. It's evaluate your work-life balance and prioritize yourself, prioritize your social life and your work as well, but just work-life balance it. Engage with people, go out and meet people, friends and family. It's always nice to have people around you, to talk to people about your problem. People you love and trust is always a nice thing to have and do when you're going through like life, the motions of life. I would also recommend that, yes, emotional tiredness is a thing and it shows up in those things, but like I said, it also shows up as physical tiredness. So working out, eating well, I know you don't want to hear it, sleeping at a good time, all of these things also contribute to like feeling better. Essentially, you have to figure out what would work for you and what you require, what you need to do in order to get out of this funk. The premise of this video is to say, number one, it's not okay to constantly be in this state. It's not normal. It's not okay. It's not normal to constantly be in this state. There's a reason why, and you need to pause, recognize your triggers, and figure out a way to get out of this based on you, right? What would work for you wouldn't work for me. Secondly, it's okay. It's okay. because we all honestly, most of us are dealing with this. Most of us are dealing with some level of emotional tiredness, physical tiredness. So it's okay if you're in the space where you just don't know how to explain what's happening. This is probably what's happening with you. So I'm just explaining to you and probably helping you to articulate what's going on with you, why you're depressed but you have no words for it. You're anxious all the time but you have no reason, you don't know why. This is to articulate that maybe you're just emotionally exhausted. And it's okay, because we all deal with this. And I guess finally is to be like, prioritize yourself. We're always like trying to do everything else, work, help other people, do other things. Sometimes you just have to choose yourself and figure out what you need as a human being to continue to navigate, to continue to be the best version of yourself, because you're never your best version if you're just tired all the time. Anyways, I hope this has been useful. I'll see you in my next video.